The language of strength. Stop saying these words if you wish to stand tall. There are words that erode the soul without you realizing it. You speak them carelessly, perhaps to sound humble, relatable, or honest, but each time they leave your lips, they chip away at your foundation. You do not notice at first. The damage is subtle, but over time, these words build invisible chains, tying you to weakness, self-pity, and indecision. There is a language of strength and a language of surrender. Most people, without knowing it, speak the latter. They lace their speech with self-limiting phrases, little concessions to fear, and then wonder why their lives feel small. But your words are the reflection of your thoughts, and your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. To speak weakness is to prepare yourself for defeat. The Stoics understood this truth centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If that is true, then our speech, the external expression of thought, reveals what we are made of. To discipline the tongue is to discipline the mind itself. To refine one's language is to refine one's character. You may think it's just words, but no. Language is the vessel of belief. It is not a decoration. It is the architecture of your inner world. A careless phrase can signal that you have given up control of your own power. To speak as a victim is to think as a victim and soon to live as one. So today, let us strip away the comforting illusions. Let us look honestly at the words that make us weak, not to condemn ourselves, but to awaken. You are not meant to speak like the defeated. You are meant to speak like one who commands himself, even amid uncertainty, even in pain. You are 20. You feel lost. The future feels like fog. You don't know who you will become or what your purpose is. That is fine. The Stoics would say, you cannot control what has not yet arrived. What matters is that you begin to take control of what is, your inner voice, your habits of speech, your moment-to-moment discipline. For that is how a young soul begins to turn itself toward greatness. Many people, when they fail or lose their temper, sigh and say, "I can't help it." You have probably said it too. You tell yourself you were too angry, too tired, too emotional. You excuse yourself by appealing to nature. That's just how I am. I couldn't control it. But understand this, to say "I can't help it" is to sign a declaration of helplessness. You are not merely describing a moment. You are defining yourself as a slave to impulse. You are saying, my emotions are my master. I obey whatever they command. Epictetus, a Stoic slave who became a philosopher, would have shaken his head gently at that. He wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom, to a Stoic, is not the ability to do whatever one wishes. It is the strength to act according to reason, even when passions rage inside. You were not born to be ruled by your moods. You were born to rule them. To say, "I can't help it," is to deny the very power that distinguishes you from the animals. A lion obeys instinct. A man chooses. Perhaps you believe you cannot help it because you have failed many times before. You have lost control, shouted, procrastinated, indulged. You have proof of your weakness, but repetition is not fate. Each moment is a new field for mastery. The past does not bind you unless you let it. When you feel that familiar pull to quit, to lash out, to retreat, pause. Let silence intervene between emotion and action. In that pause lies your freedom. Say to yourself, "I can help it. I can choose differently." Even if you fail again, you have already weakened the chain that binds you. Do not let that phrase live in your mouth. Replace it with, "I choose not to." Those words sound simple, but they are powerful. They reclaim authorship. They remind you that you are not merely reacting to life, you are shaping it. Each choice, however small, is an act of creation. You can help it. You can help everything that passes through your mind if you are willing to confront yourself honestly. The discipline of self-command is not glamorous. It is quiet, often painful, but it is the only path that leads to peace. Another soft dagger that people use against themselves is the phrase, "That's just how I am." It sounds like authenticity, but it is really resignation disguised as identity. When people say it, they mean, "Don't expect me to change." They confuse self-acceptance with self-abandonment. But a Stoic does not accept stagnation as identity. Seneca wrote, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." To say, "That's just how I am," is to declare that your education is complete. It is to close the door on growth. You may think you are being honest when you say this, but honesty is not the same as fatalism. Yes, you may be impatient, sensitive, easily distracted, But these are conditions, not destiny. The moment you label them as permanent, you kill the possibility of transformation. You are clay, not stone. You can shape yourself through effort, repetition, and reflection. You can become the kind of person who is disciplined, calm, thoughtful, strong, but only if you stop defending the person who is not. You are 20. You have no business defining yourself so early. You have not yet seen who you could be if you stopped repeating the same story about yourself. Stop saying, "That's just how I am." You are not just anything. You are becoming. True self-acceptance is not indulgence. It is awareness. It says, "This is where I am now, and here is where I must go next." It is the courage to admit that you are unfinished, and the strength to begin again each day with humility and resolve. Perhaps the most seductive weakness of all is the phrase, "It's not fair." You will be tempted to say it often. When others succeed faster than you, when effort goes unrewarded, when life seems to single you out for hardship, it is natural to feel the sting of injustice. But it is not wise to dwell there. The world is not fair. It never was and never will be. The Stoics did not waste a single breath demanding fairness from the cosmos. They knew that life distributes pleasure and pain without order or reason. Fortune does not reward virtue nor punish vice. The innocent suffer, the wicked prosper. And yet, within that chaos, the wise remain unmoved. Why? Because fairness is not a law of nature, it is a human expectation. When you cling to that expectation, you guarantee disappointment. You create unnecessary suffering by arguing with reality. Epictetus said, "Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go smoothly." The one who learns to wish for reality itself becomes invincible. When you find yourself thinking, "It's not fair," ask instead, "What now? What can I do given this? What virtue can I practice here? Patience, courage, endurance." That is the Stoics' way. Fairness is a child's dream. Reality is a battlefield. The strong do not demand balance, they adapt. They play the hand they are dealt, not the one they wish for. And in doing so, they discover something greater than fairness: freedom. Stop saying it's not fair. Life owes you nothing. You were given breath, that is your only entitlement. Everything else is earned or lost through your choices. When you stop expecting fairness, you gain serenity. You stop fighting the wind and start setting your sail. Another phrase to cut from your tongue is, "I'll try." It sounds harmless, even positive, but it is often a subtle betrayal of will. To say, "I'll try," is to leave the back door open. It gives you an escape from accountability. You have already given yourself permission to fail. "I'll try to wake up early." "I'll try to quit." "I'll try to focus." No, you will or you will not. When you say, "I'll try," you are protecting your ego from failure. If you succeed, you can claim effort. If you fail, you can claim you never promised. But that is not strength, that is cowardice masked as modesty. The Stoic speaks with precision. He does not dilute his commitment with softness. If he intends to do something, he says, "I will." If he does not, he says, "I won't." That clarity hardens the spirit. It draws a clean line between action and illusion. You are defined by what you do, not what you almost did. Trying is not doing. Intending is not accomplishing. The universe does not reward your potential, it rewards your persistence. Replace "I'll try" with "I will." Let that phrase shape your life until your words carry weight. Mean what you say and say little. Every promise you keep, no matter how small, becomes a brick in the fortress of your character. When your speech becomes disciplined, your actions follow. There is no need for motivational noise. Precision in language creates precision in life. And then perhaps the quietest but most dangerous phrase of all, "I don't care." It masquerades as strength, as emotional armor. You say it to sound untouchable, indifferent, unbothered. But indifference is not wisdom. It is fatigue. It is what happens when the heart grows tired of being hurt. The Stoic does not numb himself to life. He does not care. He cares deeply but selectively. He learns to care about what he can control and release what he cannot. That is not apathy, that is discernment. When you say, "I don't care," you are often lying. You care very much, but you are afraid of being disappointed, rejected, or wounded. So you build a wall. But the wall that keeps pain out also keeps growth out. Marcus Aurelius cared deeply about virtue, duty, justice, and the well-being of others. He was not detached because he didn't care. He was detached because he cared rightly. He placed his concern where it could bear fruit, within his own character. Stop saying, I don't care. You do care. The challenge is to refine your caring, to turn emotion into strength, compassion into discipline, hope into effort. Apathy is not stoicism, it is surrender. Stoicism is engagement without dependence. It is to love without clinging, to act without demanding, to give without measuring. The one who truly does not care about anything becomes hollow. The one who cares about the right things becomes whole. Now step back and look at these phrases together. They have one thing in common. They all deny responsibility. They all whisper the same lie, I am not in control. But you are. You always are. You are not in control of the world, but you are in control of yourself. Your reason, your reactions, your decisions, these are yours. And that is enough. The modern world trains you to look outward for meaning. It rewards complaint, victimhood, emotional display. It tells you that to feel deeply is to be authentic, even if those feelings rule you. But Stoicism calls you inward. It demands that you look beneath your emotions to find the still point, the inner citadel where no insult, no failure, no misfortune can touch you. That citadel is built words, your words. Every phrase of strength is a stone. Every phrase of weakness is a crack. You do not need to shout to be strong. You do not need to dominate others. You only need to master yourself. Speak with care. When you talk to others, and especially when you talk to yourself, speak as one who commands his spirit. Never say again that you can't help it. You can. Never say that's just how you are. You are still being shaped. Never say it's not fair. Life was never meant to be. Never say you'll try. You will or you won't. Never say you don't care. You care. Choose wisely what you care for. The weak speak from emotion. The strong speak from intention. The weak fill silence with excuses. The strong fill silence with meaning. You are not here to be liked. You are here to become unshakable. You are here to walk through chaos without losing your calm. You are here to rise again, again, and again until nothing outside can disturb what is inside. So, speak less. Endure more. Let your silence carry the gravity of a mind that does not need to prove itself. Let your restraint speak louder than all noise. And when you speak, speak like one who has remembered his power.